Manchester United are one of the biggest clubs in the world, steeped in history and success. But with the Reds lagging way behind Europe's elite on so many fronts these days, tradition may soon have to make way for progress, and that could mean destroying Old Trafford and building a brand new ground. So, with the help of artificial intelligence, SunSport has collated a portfolio of mind-bending images which show exactly the sort of futuristic arenas United could soon be playing in. Old Trafford has fallen into total disrepair in recent years, with its leaky roof a physical representation of United's equally shambolic on-field collapse, with 11 years having passed since England's most successful club last won the title. On and off the pitch, the Reds have been well and truly overtaken by hated local rivals Man City and Liverpool, with United part owner Jim Ratcliffe arriving in 2024 determined to address the growing gulf. The Ineos chief first targeted football operations by bringing in sporting director Dan Ashworth, who's now gone, CEO Omar Barada and Ineos director Jean-Claude Blanc. Their appointments were designed to improve United's recruitment, and after spending nearly £200 million on players, that crack team has since sacked Erik ten Hag, eventually, and appointed Ruben Amorim to replace him. But amidst all the personnel changes, Ratcliffe has also been addressing the critical Old Trafford issue and appointed a task force including Gary Neville and Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham to decide how to get this grand old club competing with the world's best once again. So why now? Old Trafford may be the biggest club stadium in England, but it is showing significant signs of wear and tear, having stood in one form or another for 114 years. But with increasing demand for tickets and a roof that dumps vast quantities of water on fans whenever it rains in Manchester, which is a lot, the ground is no longer fit for purpose. The hated Glazer family, who own a controlling stake in the club, have been accused of allowing the stadium to rot, with patchy and tired paintwork, cramped concourses, limited refreshment options, and most criminally of all to the modern-day football fan, terrible Wi-Fi. United legend Gary Neville has described the ground as second-rate, with no major renovation works having taken place for 18 years. And that was when 8,000 seats were added, with the addition of a second tier in the northwest and northeast quadrants. Since then, Arsenal moved into the Emirates, Spurs built their shiny new ground, West Ham migrated to the London Stadium, and Brentford built the G-Tech. And of course, Liverpool, Fulham and Man City have also transformed their homes with multi-million pound upgrades, leaving all of those clubs offering far more advanced hospitality packages than the Reds. Add to that Everton's impending move to their brand new 53,000-seat Bramley-Moore Dock Stadium, plus Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Aston Villa all exploring ways to expand their grounds, United are at real risk of getting left behind. In fact, many would argue that they already have been, as Old Trafford has not been chosen as one of the UK and Ireland's host stadiums for Euro 2028, despite it being the second biggest ground in England. So what is the plan? Well, back in February, Jim Ratcliffe set up the Old Trafford Regeneration Task Force to consider the club's options. That task force includes Neville and Burnham and is headed up by World Athletics President Lord Coe. The two options they're considering are to renovate and expand the club's historic home or build another world-class venue from scratch. Either way, the Reds would be left with the largest club stadium in the country. Option 1. A brand new stadium. United are currently assessing two proposals for tearing down the Old Trafford we know and replacing it with a brand new so-called Wembley of the North. That would be a state-of-the-art 100,000-seater stadium inspired by the 70,000 capacity SoFi Stadium, which is home of the LA Rams and built by Arsenal's American owners, the Kroenke family. So how could it take shape? Well, proposals are said to include a huge single-tiered stand like Tottenham's South Stand or Borussia Dortmund's Yellow Wall, a permanently closed roof, never before seen in the UK, or a roof arch similar to Wembley with giant LED screens wrapping around the inside and outside of the stadium as they do at LA's SoFi, a striking metal or glass facade similar to the new stadium shells at the Bernabeu, and inside the ground would of course be completely revamped with internal screens, which would be a huge upgrade for Reds fans, with Old Trafford currently one of the few Premier League stadiums not to provide a single screen for fans inside the ground. But it's the plans for outside of Old Trafford that make this proposal the most ambitious. The brand new ground would become part of what's been dubbed the biggest regeneration project this country had ever seen. It would sit on nearby land behind the current Stretford end, and around it shops, restaurants and entertainment spaces would be built, with nearby transport links improved at a grand total of £2 billion. United are hoping to secure government funding for the project, as experts predict it would provide a £7.3 billion boost to the local economy, as well as 92,000 jobs, more than 17,000 new homes and an additional 1.8 million annual visitors. Ratcliffe and the Regeneration Task Force seem to favour a new Wembley of the North, with Gary Neville saying he wants a Man United world similar to Disneyland that will see improvements to the surrounding areas as well as the stadium. But the Stretford end would likely have to be closed during the build, meaning reduced capacity and some fans temporarily unable to attend games, but club executives say they're exploring all possible options to avoid this. Option 2. Renovate the existing stadium. Liverpool have recently extended the Anfield Road end to increase their capacity by 10,000. Fulham added 5,000 seats by developing their Riverside stand, and Man City are continuing work on their North stand. So Man United are also looking at whether they can follow suit by upgrading the club's historic home and increasing the capacity by more than 12,000 to 87,000 seats. As the smallest of Old Trafford's four sides, the Sir Bobby Charlton stand would be the main area of focus, with at least one tier having to be added and its height increased significantly. Fans often find renovation a more attractive option, as it gives them the best of both worlds, allowing them to keep their beloved ground and also keep with the times. Expanding Old Trafford would allow United to stay in their home of more than 100 years, while also offering a seat to some of the 177,000 fans currently on the season ticket waiting list. So what are the main challenges? The biggest problem with developing the existing stadium is that any expansion is limited by the key railway line connecting Liverpool and Manchester, which runs directly behind the Sir Bobby Charlton stand. Mayor Burnham has proposed a solution which could see the key railway freight terminal on that line moved, with United hoping a new passenger station could also be added to replace the Trafford Halt stop, which was last used in December 2017. But even if Burnham's plans got the green light, there are other potential drawbacks. While the project would cost a lot less than a brand new stadium, with initial projections estimating a £1.2 billion spend, United would have to play elsewhere while it was built. And that would most likely mean a ground share with City, which would lead to a considerable loss in matchday revenue. So who will undertake the building works? Whether it's a brand new Wembley of the North or a redeveloped Old Trafford, architects Foster & Partners are the favourites to take on this project, and it's fair to say they've got an impressive portfolio. They're the team behind the new Wembley, proving they know how to balance history and modernity when it comes to football grounds, and from iconic stadiums to iconic buildings like the British Museum and the recently renovated Battersea Power Station, Foster & Partners are responsible for some of the biggest regeneration projects in Britain and around the world. So would all this be worth it? Money will of course be an issue. A brand new stadium will cost upwards of £2 billion, and Ratcliffe himself is only said to be worth around £12 billion, and that was before he bought into United. But increased capacity and better hospitality packages will see matchday revenue increase sharply, with some estimates predicting a rise from £136 million to £200 million a year. New shops and restaurants would also have to pay rent to the club, resulting in a steady source of income from the site, even when games are not being played. In terms of Ratcliffe and his role in the development, the new project could boost his waning popularity, with a recent survey finding 52% of season ticket holders are in favour of a move, while 31% want a redevelopment of the current ground, and I've got no idea what the other 17% want. So how long would all of this take? United bosses are set to make a decision next summer, and it's thought that once an option is chosen, there's likely to be a lengthy design consultation period which could last up to 2 years before any building work can commence. That means stadium construction is not likely to start until at least the end of the 27-28 season, with the new ground unlikely to be completed before 2032. By way of comparison, Tottenham Stadium and Liverpool's Anfield Road extension took around 3 years to build, whereas Spanish giants Barcelona are adding an entire new tier to the Nou Camp, which stretches around the entire stadium and is expected to take 4 years. Now, that may not fit in with Ratcliffe's Project 150, which aims to celebrate the club's 150th anniversary by winning the 2028 league title, but a state-of-the-art, world-leading stadium would certainly give United a fighting chance of returning to the very top of the football pyramid over the years to come.